Welcome to another episode of the HomeTown podcast where you learn beyond what you're taught and you know beyond what you've heard. Hang on. Today we got a special guest, Jessica. And I always just stop there. I don't want to get my last name wrong. So
Jessica Waldrop.
Waldrop. Okay. And I think it's always been Jessica Waldrop, hadn't since the time you started here.
Yeah.
I've had a couple circumstances. Well, there's more than a couple that have gotten married here,
Right.
Or since they've been working here. So their last name changed. And whatever I saw in the beginning is the name that sticks forever.
Yes, same with me. Like I remember everybody as their maiden name if they got married.
Yeah. We had, who was it we had on here the other day? And anyway, they mentioned Joanna Four. I don't think her name is Joanna Four anymore.
No, it's Bullard.
Yeah. So I had to think for a second to remember who Joanna Four was and what she looked like and all that kind of stuff. Because, it would be interesting to see how many employees we've taken on over the years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like to save pictures. So I look back.
Yeah.
And remember the employees.
Yeah. Pictures are something we didn't do a very good job of in the first 3 to 4 years. But
I found some on the Z Drive not long ago that were old. Like Dora was like 18.
Yeah, right out of high school.
Yeah.
That is fun.
Uh-huh.
We lost a lot of our older pictures. We had them on a hard drive because this was back before iPhones.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just harder to take pictures then.
Yeah.
But, okay, let's talk a little bit about you, Jessica. What we try to do on these podcasts is just introduce you to the public and the customer or the person that doesn't see you on a regular basis. We think all of our customers see us all the time, but they really don't.
Oh, no, they don't.
The percentages are really, really small. And I always use Patty as an example. I remember one time she worked at Total Line, and they're like, "Are you new here?"
Yes. I got asked that yesterday. So how long have you been here?
So long.
I said, well, actually, this week was 19 years.
And you think everybody knows that,
Yeah, right? And they're like, oh, well, they've been keeping you in the back?
Yeah. Well, that's the very reason that we decided to start doing this is as a part of the podcast idea was to introduce our employees to other people. And what happens too is just as we were talking earlier is things that other employees don't know about you.
Right.
People you may have worked with for 15 or 19 years, there's still things that they don't, because you're not going to sit down and talk about where you're from and that kind of stuff. So I think it's important.
Yeah.
And it's really been a really beneficial thing, I think, overall, for everybody to know a little bit more about each other. But so where are you from? Where'd you go to school?
Cleveland.
Go to Cleveland. So Cleveland is home.
Yep. I lived in the same house.
Oh, really?
All my life, yeah.
Yeah.
Graduated from Cleveland. And then I think we lived in Oneonta and Locust Fort. And now I live back in Oneonta.
Yeah. Okay. So family, sisters, brother?
Well, I have 2 older sisters that didn't ever live with me, but then I have a younger brother.
Okay. So there's 4 of you.
Mm-hmm.
And what about your children? How many children do you? I know you've got.
So I have 2. I have a 26-year-old and a 9-year-old.
What a stretch there.
Right.
That might be a record.
I love to tell people that because they're like, first of all, they're like, you don't even look old enough to have a 26-year-old. And then, but you got a 26-year-old and a 9-year-old? Like, what was you thinking?
Well, there is quite a difference in treating a 9-year-old and a 26-year-old.
Yes, yes.
Different issues, different things that happen,
And I think I'm a better parent to the 9-year-old than I was, though.
Well, what'd you have? 20, let's see, you had 17 years.
17 years.
Yeah,
Yep.
You had 17 years to learn what to do and what
Right.
not to do.
I tell my daughter, I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I made all the mistakes with you.
So now you're apologizing, trying to make up.
Right. So I try to do better with him, but that's not easy either.
Well, you mentioned you've been with the bank for 19 years. What kind of things have you done, Jessica, as far as different roles in the bank? I know
Well, I was originally hired to work the teller line for Pinson. But after 2 weeks on the teller line, they moved me to loan office. But I had at my other job, I had been doing, I was like a loan secretary, and so I had learned a lot.
So tell us a little bit about how you got to HomeTown, like maybe your first job versus, that whole progression thing that happens in there.
Well, so every job kind of played into the next. My senior year, I worked at the Board of Education for Mitchie Neal, and like a co-op kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Patty, I knew her from her kids stayed with my mother-in-law. And so I was like, well, a bank, that sounds good. Like I like the office setting. I had worked in fast food, and I knew I didn't want to work fast food.
Right.
Originally, I was going to be a teacher. I was going to go to college and be a teacher. But I had to work at the bank because I was already married. And so I got a job at the bank, and it just clicked. Like it was, it just like I knew what I was doing.
So who was that with? What your first?
Oh, Community Bank.
Community Bank. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I worked with them for 6 years before I came to HomeTown.
Okay. All right. So that was your breaking in,
Mm-hmm.
was over at Community.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, that means it's a pretty good size time frame, 25 years in this business.
Mm-hmm. And I saw where things that I loved about Community Bank, and then the bank sold.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw where I didn't want to work, just the setting and how you treated the customers, and where Community Bank was about the customer.
Mm-hmm.
Then the bank sold, so it was more rule-based. You couldn't do for the customers like you could before. They were just a number, not a person, and I didn't like that. And then HomeTown opened, and I was like, oh, yeah, like this is where I want to go.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of been our mantra since the beginning.
Mm-hmm. I really like that. Like it makes me proud to work for us, the way we treat our customers.
I appreciate that. But, we have tried to maintain a good reputation and do what we say we're going to do. I mean,
yes, that's absolutely
not only to the customer, but also to our team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's critical. What do you do now? I mean, what is your primary
So now
role?
I'm a loan officer.
And how long have you been an loan officer?
No, let's see, 8 years.
Wow. That does, because I can remember
I know.
Jessica's going into lending, and
Yes.
next thing I know,
It's 8 years later, right?
Yeah. What's really interesting about lending is that you develop a book of customer, what we used to call a book of customer, or a group of customers that, once they borrowing money is not
Mm-hmm.
something that people are comfortable with because
Right.
they're asking for something. And so what happens is they get comfortable asking you, right?
Yes.
I mean, think about yourself. If you have a good experience when you ask for something and people don't intimidate you or whatever, you'll go back and ask them again.
Right.
And so you get more and more comfortable with asking that same person. And that's really what they're doing when they're doing loans. And so you get a set of customers that only want to see you.
Yes.
They don't want to have to reintroduce themselves. And what happens there is that then in 8 years, you've had 8 years of experience loaning them money.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be buying something or whatever, right?
Right.
So do you kind of feel that way about 8 years of experience doing it? How do you describe what you do to somebody?
Well, I say that I loan money, and I'm a therapist on the side because it can get really personal.
Yeah.
With a customer.
Yeah.
You're in a closed setting. You're telling them all about your finances, so they start telling you personal stuff too, and
yeah, because there's a story behind the finances.
right, absolutely. Everybody has a story.
Yeah.
And I'm a very relatable person, and if there's a mistake to be made, I probably made it, so there's no judgment.
Right. Sure.
And I'll listen to anybody.
always tell people too, if you'll explain your mistake to people,
Yes.
then they're more open to have that conversation with you too.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it really is. Lending is something that, and to me, it has a little bit of science, but a whole lot of art. And you got to be really, you got to kind of take a step back to realize what these folks are really asking of you, which is some time.
Oh, yeah. And some people just want your time, like, to talk to you.
Yeah, right, because they trust you, So that's always good to hear. I mean, just because people, big bad loan.
Yes, right. Now, I do have some people like that I know they're like, oh, well, you're intimidating. Like, you're the mean, like you just look mean. But I have a face that,
Yeah, right.
If I'm not smiling, it can be mean looking.
Well, now you live in Oneonta now. Your 9-year-old is going to Oneonta, I guess.
No, he goes to Mount Pleasant Christian School.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Mount Pleasant's been around quite a while.
It has, and I like the small school setting.
That's great. Yeah. So, and do you work primarily in the Oneonta office?
Yes.
Because I have to remind myself when I go out there too that of course my old office is gone now.
Right.
And we've developed that into something else.
It's going to be nice, but
yeah,
it's different.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we just get accustomed to doing things the way we do them, and all of a sudden the door changed. So okay. So at the bank, what do you think is unique here? I mean, just totally unique, not beyond the other stuff you talked about as far as culture.
As far as the bank goes, like working?
Yeah, just being here, just being a part of the team, or, what's different on this team versus the other, not necessarily just the community bank experience, but other experiences you may have had as far as how people's jobs go.
Well, I mean, what I love about it is that you're given the opportunity to learn whatever you want. I mean, whatever you will learn. And then the freedom to make choices. That absolutely. I've always been a person who wanted to make my own choices.
Yeah, right.
Which is probably why I got married at 17. Independence, right. So that plays a huge role. I tell people all the time that if I was to leave banking, I could never go to another bank because nobody operates like we do.
Yeah.
And we're about unique. The customer. Yes.
Yeah, it is unique. No doubt. You got any funny stories about working here? Anything happened that just kind of sticks with you?
There was all kinds of things I was thinking about. Some might not be appropriate, but
yeah.
The best story though, I've heard them talk about the rat and the ITM, and I was there that day. And then there was the crawfish and the cup holder or the pen holder, and Tristan's freaking out about it. And I was like, what? You're just being a baby. Like, I will go out there and I'll open it up. And I get halfway there and I'm like, what if this rat jumps on me?
You start thinking about things that can happen.
Yeah, right. And so I got out there and I just kind of poked around and I didn't look for it. Well, then Crow comes and he goes to look for it. And we've got him on video. And because we got busy, so we didn't get to see Crow, but we watched him open it up. And this rat just jumps at him. But it was so funny because we're all three watching the video and we all jump when the rat jumps.
At the same time.
Yeah, like it was jumping on us,
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
There's so many stories from COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Because me and Tristan were at Cleveland by ourselves for probably first 6 months. And the customers, they felt bad for us. So they would bring us kind cups. They were really supportive of our.
Yeah. Whatever you needed and that kind of thing. Yeah. We always talk about what we do for the community or this or that, but it's amazing what the community's done for us. And I think that is crucial for us to remember and really get that word out there that, thank you, the community, because just like you said, in the COVID circumstance where you guys were limited, 2 people out on a sidewalk is not always
right. Trying to teach people how to use an ITM.
Yeah, right.
Didn't want to.
Didn't want to, and so how do we get that but at the same time, they're bringing you things or whatever it is that you need. They feel like that they need to support us too. So a lot of that happened. COVID was in a lot of ways, most ways terrible, but we have to kind of grasp onto the few things that we know that were unique and, positive.
I love that we work as a team. I loved when we worked the concession stands, even though it was exhausting because we had worked all day.
Right.
But we all pulled together. Like, I have not worked with a bad team here. And I absolutely love that we all do different things, but we can all go in a room and just get it done. Like, we just click.
Whatever's necessary, whenever it's necessary.
Yes, and that's what we hire, and I love that.
Yeah. Anything that you're doing outside of work right now that you're working on or doing that you really like?
Nothing that I just super like. Like, I love to paint and draw, but I don't get time for that.
Oh, really?
Normally, though, so I have a grandbaby now, and that would be what I do on the weekends.
Yeah.
She's really independent, so now it's just following her around.
That has been a repetitive answer to that question for those that do have grandkids is that, the grandkids take all my time now.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
It's Patty. I remember when Patty had her first grandbaby, and she was just like, oh my gosh, like, it's the best thing ever. And I was like, okay,
Maybe not.
Right. But it is absolutely the best thing.
Right. Well, Jessica, thank you for coming. I know your time's valuable, and we appreciate that. And thanks for joining us on another episode of HomeTown Podcast, and we'll see you next time.